What's going on, traders? Going to be a quick video. We're just going to get straight into it. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So in our last video, we talked about how institutions loaded up on VIX calls, specifically 24 strike calls for December 17th. And these were loaded up yesterday, 2 minutes before close at 3:58 Eastern time. Now, when we look at the VIX, not only did we hit that 24 target, but we went as high as 25.5. And this was my main concern in the last video, because one thing I encouraged you guys to do is pay attention to VIX above this pivotal level of 19.4. As long as the VIX stays above 19.4, you do risk the chance of the VIX continuing towards the upside. And obviously, if the VIX continues towards the upside, eventually the market will move inverse of that. And so the question of the day is this a dip buying opportunity? Me personally, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but one thing I will say is as long as the VIX stays below 25.5, there is a chance, a small chance, that you retest this 23 level. However, if the VIX gets above 25.5 and actually hold, then at that point, in my personal opinion, you are in correction territory. And the reason why I say that is because when you look to the left, you are very illiquid to 35. All right, so you definitely want to pay attention to these key levels. Screenshot it, do what you got to do. 25.5, 23. If you get back below 23, then chances are you're going to head back towards 19.4. So that's what I have for the VIX. Now, when we look at order flow, when it comes to the SPY and IWM, we'll just start with the IWM since we're already here. We got a lot of bearish flow coming in. We got 233 strike puts coming in for November 21st, 700K premium, 700K premium. We scroll down, we got 235 strike puts, 237 strike puts, 236 strike puts. The list goes on. We look at the SPY. Again, more bearish flow coming in for the SPY. 625 strike puts, 625 strike puts, 625 strike puts, all with the expiration of November 21st. You got 1 million premium, 500K premium, 900K premium. You scroll down, a lot of 655 strike puts coming in for expiration of next week, November 7th. And as you guys can see, 1 million strike premium, 1 million strike premium. I mean, the list goes on. So it's not looking too good. So what I will say is, even if the VIX retests 23 tomorrow, and tomorrow is majority bullish, right, for the market, I do imagine if we bounce off that 23 level, then we're basically heading towards 35. So you definitely want to take profit tomorrow, you know, day trade, scalp, do what you got to do, but I would not encourage swinging any calls as long as the VIX stays within this range between 23 and 25.5. That's just me. You guys do what you want with that information. Now, when we look at the SPY here, your key level for the SPY is 665 and 659. As long as you stay below 665, then you risk the chance of heading towards 659. Now, me personally, at this point, if the SPY gets back below 659, you open up the floodgates to 646. All right, I know that sounds crazy, but hey, I'm just giving you guys the levels here. All right, and the reason why I say that is because there's an empty void down here that needs to be filled, right, at some point in time. Not only that, but you do have this rising wedge, bear flag, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't necessarily matter what you call it. The point is that this is a bearish pattern. So again, your key level here is 659. If the SPY gets below 659, then you're looking at 655, 653. The lowest I'm looking at right now is 646 when it comes to the SPY. You look at the triple Qs, pretty much the same thing with the triple Qs. You got this rising wedge here. If triple Qs manage to get below 597.5, you're looking at a move towards 595. Lowest you're looking at is about 580 right here where these guys are when it comes to the triple Qs, if and only if you get back below 595. So that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs. IWM, as long as IWM stays below 244.9, you'll just say 245 psych level. Then you're heading towards 243. Below 243, you're looking at 240, 239, and at that point, you're looking at a gap fill towards 237. Now, remember, I just showed you guys the bearish flow for IWM, right? And there was a lot of bearish flow coming in for that 237, right? And one thing I mentioned in a video before is that Qs filled the gap to the downside, SPY filled this gap towards the downside, but IWM never filled this gap towards the downside down here. It pretty much left it, right? And crazy enough, when we look at order flow, we see that there's a lot of puts playing for 236, 235, and 237. Crazy enough, that's where the gap fill is, at around 238 and 237. So I do imagine that that's what institutions are playing for. They're hoping for this gap fill down here. All right. So you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments below. When we look at Nvidia, and so Nvidia held very strong today, right? And I shouldn't be surprised, it's Nvidia. But as long as Nvidia stays below 184, the gates are still open to 173. I will say that much. Now, one pivotal level that we want to pay attention to here for more confirmation is 179. If Nvidia manages to get below 179, then I do believe at that point it's over. We're heading to 173. The market is going to get dragged down with it, and we're probably going to be in correction territory. That's just my thoughts. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. But as long as Nvidia stays above 179, I will say that there is hope, I guess. And the reason why I say that is because when you go to the 4-hour time frame, there is a gap all the way at 188. All right, there is a gap. So as long as Nvidia stays above 179, you can take a nice little hedge position against puts and possibly play for this gap fill, or you could just simply wait for 179 to break and play more downside in the overall market. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for Nvidia. Nvidia's held up pretty strong today despite the downside we've seen, so there's hope. All right, there is hope that this could be potentially a buy to dip opportunity. Me personally, I wouldn't count too much on it. All right. Now, when we look at SMH, semiconductor ETF, we talked about this on a weekly time frame. Like I said, if this thing can't get back above 250, you're heading towards 223, guys. 223. So maybe tomorrow it happens. I don't know. But again, like I said, SMH below 250 is bearish. You're heading towards 223 as long as it stays 323. I should say 323 as long as you stay below 350. So that's what we're looking at for SMH. Pretty simple stuff. Nothing too crazy there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin has officially broken below 109K. I told you guys that if Bitcoin breaks below 109K, you're heading towards 107K. There's a lot of structure here. It's going to be, I imagine it's going to be pretty hard to break below 107K, but if Bitcoin manages to break below 107K, then you're heading towards 100K at that point, between 104K and 100K. I won't be bearish on Bitcoin I won't be full-blown bearish on Bitcoin until you break below 97K. So for now, I'm still bullish on crypto towards the end of the quarter. I still believe Bitcoin is going to head towards 150K by the end of the fourth quarter. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, not looking great. I mean, again, you stay below 109K, you're heading towards 107K. You get below 107K, then it gets pretty bad from there. So that's what you're looking at for Bitcoin. And that's pretty much the video, guys. I'm very tired, so I would love to make this video longer, but that's pretty much all I have in me. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Are we going to see more downside? Are we going to see a dead cat bounce tomorrow, right? Is this the start of a correction, crash? You guys let me know what you think. And until the next video, traders, have a good one.